Welcome back, Internet. I am Keeney. This is my garage, and that is the 2001 Toyota Tacoma. And the story goes, the engine stalled while they were driving at highway speeds, and it is now a crank no start. Just finished our pre-check on her, and she is in overall pretty good shape, like really good shape. She's got like 345,000 miles or something on the clock, and aside from oil leaking from like every gasket besides the valve cover, it's in great shape. We might even ask if he wants to sell this thing at some point. In any case, that's about all I know about it, and now that's what you know about it. So let's go ahead and grab a scan tool. We will plug into her, read codes, look at service information, try and figure out why she's not running, and get going. Turns out I was 10K off on the mileage. We're at 354,000 miles. I'll let you know what she sounds like. Oh, this thing has an awesome button. Check this out. Clutch, start, cancel. So normally, we'll go to crank position, nothing happens. You got to push in the clutch pedal, right? So clutch pedal's in, and now we can crank it. You can probably watch, see if the tach jumps. I do not know if the camera is able to pick it up, but I think the tach moved just a smidgen, so I think that's good. But anyway, check this out. You can hit that button. You can keep your foot anywhere away from that clutch pedal, and it'll crank. That is super cool, though it is not a latched switch. So when we go to key off and then key back on, so we got check engine light, we got a little bit of tach movement, and then that thing resets. So I guess we'll jump under the hood and give her a little huff of Narcan and see if she takes a gasp for life. Oh yeah, I got sidetracked on the clutch button. We have a whopping 2 computers on this girl. And we've got 4 codes, EGR and CATs. I highly doubt that EGR, even if it's excessive flow, highly doubt that's going to cause our no start. I suppose it could, but I think we're going to start with our little huff of Narcan and go from there. All right, we'll give her a little huff and see if she fires. Go ahead and crank her. Yeah! Oh, it's still running. Oh, no, there. Oh. Don't touch the throttle. So it started to run on its own, which is a little interesting, but we were getting some throttle manipulation, so we'll see. We'll try that one more time and see if we can get it to stay running on its own without throttle. All right, go ahead and crank her. Interesting. Go ahead and crank it again. I wonder if she's running off residual. All right, go ahead and crank her again. Go ahead again. Interesting. Well, hopefully the mocks have stopped being blown out now. I may stand corrected. So we obviously saw that it cranked over for a while when we were inside of it and it did not fire. But once it fired, now it tried to run. I'm very curious if we do actually have an EGR issue there. Let me think about this for a hot minute. Well, let's go on a quick tour of the engine. So going back and forth in my mind, do we want to chase EGR? Do we want to chase fuel? Not 100% sure, but there's where the EGR2 bolts the manifold, and it's a little warm since it had been running. And when I grabbed the other side of it, over here, right there, that pipe is buried under there. That pipe is pretty cold. I would expect it to be a little bit warmer if we were flowing a whole bunch of EGR, and that was the reason the engine wasn't running. Maybe we didn't let it run long enough, but it's still pretty cold up there. In any case, we got 2 fuel lines. I think we're going to go after fuel. I think it makes the most sense. This one here should be our supply line, which goes down, I don't know if I can get the camera on this, to a banjo fitting on the back of a fuel filter. We're going to dance this phone around all over the place. Hey, right there. There's that banjo fitting and a fuel filter. And then, oh, I just dropped you. Are you okay? Let me dust you off a little bit. It got dirty. The other banjo fitting for the fuel looks like right there. And so I think this one on the front is going to be a little easier to get to. And I believe that is the fuel filter also right under that intake manifold. So we'll do a pre and post fuel pump, fuel filter pressure test. And then I think we're going to chase fuel on this first. All right, we got our fuel pressure gauge plugged into the pump side of the filter, and not a whole lot of fuel. It's a little blown out down there. Not a whole lot of fuel came out of there. It seemed to have like a slight bit of pressure, but not much volume seemed to come out. I don't know if that's normal or not, but this is our line. There's our gauge. We'll go ahead and we'll key on, and if the key on doesn't do anything, we'll see if we can activate the pump with the scan tool. Service info says you can, so we'll try that. All right, getting ready to key on, and just probably put my glasses on. Key on. We got nothing. All right, key off. Let's go get our scanner. Okay, key is on. Check engine light's on. We're in the engine computer. Active test. We can hit fuel pump. I will also say we won't worry about data, status or whatever. I cannot hear the fuel pump running whenever we do key on either, so I guess we have to pick something. That's strange. I know the glare is the greatest. Let's see, it'll hit on. I heard a relay click. Let's go look at our... Oh! Well, we've got, what is that, 6 PSI? 5, 6, 7 PSI? And service info, it says fuel pressure, no vacuum, 38 to 44. All right, a little fun to find, but basically the fuel pump relay is next to this fuse box, right where those pins are going in. There's like that blurry white connector in there where those 2 pins are hanging. That's where this dude lives. We've got the load side set there. We're going to connect the 2 of those together with a jumper and monitor amperage on this to see if we have a high or low amperage draw, as well as see if we can figure out fuel pump speed. This will tell you one way, good or bad, but not the other way, good or bad. So if we have, high amperage but low pump speed, that would tell us that the fuel pump is working hard, but it's not able to spin fast enough to provide pressure, so we're not worried about powers and grounds. If we have low amperage, we may still be worried about powers and grounds, though on this thing, probably not likely, but it's something we need to keep in mind. Anyway, we'll get this test set up. All right, we are getting ready to make our jump. We got one side plugged in, and we will plug in the other side. So it's inverted. I got it on the wrong scale, or wrong direction on the settings. That's okay. So we're running about 4 amps. So if we're pulling 4 amps, I'm not worried about powers or grounds. If we got enough power to pull 4 amps, we're doing okay. So let's zoom in pretty far here, maybe even further, and then stop this, and then we can pick one low point here, and then a second low point here. So that would be very likely the 2 low points are going to be 1 revolution. These guys can kind of see this. Let's see if I can Set it so you can see it. Should be one revolution of the pump. I was trying to zoom in, make this thing a lot taller. Hopefully it'll show up a little bit better on the screen. You're mounted on the steering wheel, so it's kind of awkward to figure this out. So where you can see, but basically we're looking at, well, let's close that. So here's a low point right here. So we'll bring cursor 1 into a low point. Well, we were. Cursor 1 into a low point. Cursor 2 into a low point. And our delta time is 38 milliseconds for one revolution. So with some magic fancy internet video editing work, here's going to be the math for that pump speed. Voila. All right, now that you saw that pump speed, I haven't calculated it yet, but I'll go do that real quick. Anyway, we're pulling 4 amps. It's not putting out pressure. This thing needs a fuel pump. We know that. Let's go get with the customer. Well, it's a new day, and that's a new phone, new used. We've upgraded to the 13 Pro, I think is what that is. We moved on from the 6S and the X because they're just causing some problems. More memory. I don't have any idea if this is going to sound good or not, but check out what we got going on here. This is cool. In one of the other clips, if I did my job right, I would have said something like, the pump seems to be electrically good, but it's not producing volume or pressure, something like that. Because when I did the math, just from memory, after I turned off the camera, we were somewhere in like 1500 RPM. That thing was spinning, and it's consuming like 4 amps of current. So I had made the assumption that the like impeller or something had broken off of it. We were close. That's not exactly what happened, but we were close. Check this out. So we got all our fuel pump stuff here. Client elected for a OEM pump, and the OEM pumps are actually just an actual pump. Like you actually replace the pump. Usually I see them usually try to swap them as an assembly or a sender assembly, but no big deal. Here's our old one. I think it's still going to work. The way this thing works is there's this little rubber stoppy dude down here. This thing sits like so and kind of smashes in on this little hose. Let's see how well you can see. And according to the exploded view, this is actually how the factory thing lines up. I'm going to pull this little stopper out just for the video. And so there's just a rubber hose that connects this little gap here. Like this is slightly flared on the end. And this was the hose that came off of it. And it had these worm clamps. Obviously, this has been done before. But check this out. Are you ready for this? This blew a hole in the actual hose that connects the pump to the rest of the sender and the pipe and everything else. This right here, this is the reason we had no fuel pressure. Our numbers and math and scope stuff was right. So I don't know if this is reused from previous, but obviously we're going to get some new line for it. We'll get rid of these worm clamps and go with the permanent style clamp or whatever where they're crimping and whatnot. But yeah, man, this is, to me, super, super cool that we were able to figure that out and see that in the scope. All the commutator segments look pretty even, pretty good. They weren't like shorted out or nothing or open or anything. Anyway, I'm just kind of nerding out on the fact that we made the right call. Obviously, we made the right call, but specifically to split between the electrical part and the mechanical part, I think was really cool. We had a mechanical delivery issue. It just wasn't the actual impeller like I thought it was. They're still going to get a pump. I've already opened this thing up from the dealer and everything else. But anyway, how do I normally do this? Wait, it's like this. Old pump, new pump, blah, and then we'll go throw it in the car. We'll do a quick check, make sure the sender's still working. I always plug these things back in before I actually put them in the tank and put them back in the car. Make sure the sender's still working properly. There's our current setup. We've just got the lines connected, except for the pressure line. And the pressure line we just got run to a gauge. We'll go ahead and key that dude on and make sure we got pressure right there. Straight on the lift here. If the key on doesn't work, we'll just run it with the scan tool. Let's key on to the run. and no pressure yet. There's our fuel pump command. We'll go ahead and hit that thing to on, and she's moving. We're at whatever it is, like 35 psi, seems like. Go ahead and hit off. It took a second for it to build up for sure. There it drains down. We can watch it again. I don't remember what the spec was. We'll have to look that up. I know it's upside down for you, but ready and on. There she goes, building pressure. It's like 38 psi or something like that. So I think we're good enough to hook it the rest of the way up. We'll turn it off. Let's connect it the rest of the way. There's our fuel pressure spec, 38. So it looks like we're just in spec like it should be. We just got back from the test drive. She's running and driving very well. This thing drives like super well. Like the steering super tight, the shifter's tight. Like I don't even know. This must be a new trans or something because like it's all clean. But anyway, she's sitting there. She's running. You can rev her. Yeah. That'd be about it for this one. Fuel pump fuel pump hose adapter, whatever. I wonder if someone else had reused that part because it was pretty swollen and stuff. And it actually looked like it pulled the strands all the way out from the end, like because those strands wrap around that hose. And actually pulled them all the way out and then went through. But anyway, it's fixed. That's all that really matters. I hope this was helpful for one of y'all, and I will just catch y'all up in the next video.